Hi, it's Scott Hamilton, Rockfile, back with another podcast review, The Matrix Revisited. Yes, the original Matrix in 4K HDR. I got the Matrix movies when they came out in 4K because I really like that. I have the original box set, so I have all those extras, and I wasn't really concerned. I just wanted the upgraded transfers, you know. And I did a review of The Matrix when I first watched it on a 55-inch 4K TV without HDR, and I thought it was a pretty impressive transfer. I gotta tell you, I rewatched it in 4K on the 85-inch 4K HDR television that we have, and holy crap, is this one of my favorite 4Ks now. The HDR, at first it's like, okay, this kind of, when the visual effects in the beginning, when the computer's kind of reading you things and showing you things, and it starts, you know, the fiber stuff heats up and gets really bright. It's incredibly bright on an HDR display, and as the movie continues on, anything that's a vivid green or a vivid white or that vivid blue like in the bullet time stuff, just wow. Not that it looks like a radically different color, it just looks like there is an obvious difference in when they're in the Matrix and when they're not, color tone wise. Everything is bluer when they're out and greener when they're in. And one of the things watching it this time that I always forget, when you pile on the other two movies, which is another, 5-6 hours of content, you forget that all of this started, that the first 40 minutes of the movie, you still think you're in reality the whole time. You know, Neo wakes up, the computer's talking to him, he goes to the club, he talks to Trinity in real life. I mean, all this takes 20, 30 minutes, and you know, other than the scene of Trinity at the beginning, no action, you don't know what's going on. And I like how the movie plays, you know, almost to halfway through, that you don't really know what's going on. Well, about 49 minutes in is when Neo finally truly wakes up. And I might get into spoilers since this is my second time reviewing it in a movie that's been out for 20 years. You should have seen it. I was talking to a friend of mine last night. Wasn't sure that they had seen it. But this was a game changer of a movie, and that was the crux of my first review of it many, many months ago. It changed action scenes. Between this and Blade back in 98 and 99, action movies had kind of gotten stale. And you follow these up with Deadpool and John Wick, and now here we are in 2020 getting some superior action films. Say what you will about Hobbs and Shaw, but that was a very entertaining, completely over-the-top and unrealistic, very funny action film that we wouldn't have gotten there without some of this other stuff. Between bullet time and slow-mo and different camera angles and different camera rigs and backing up and showing the action, all of these things added to this mythology and this mystery story and all that to make this, it's a modern classic. The Matrix really was a game changer. I remember driving, I was driving with my girlfriend at the time, and I was living in Chattanooga, and it opened on a Wednesday. And remember, all the trailers and stuff were What is the Matrix? And we saw it on the marquee, and we had nothing better to do. It was like 7 o'clock, and we were driving home. We're like, we doing anything? No, let's go to the movies. Okay, so we went to the movies. And we walked out with Jaws on the floor. I mean, it was just like, I had no idea what I was getting into. Knew, you know, it's Keanu Reeves, and it was going to be science fiction, but holy crap, you know. And then finally they debuted some trailers that showed some of the martial arts and all that. But honestly, this 2-hour film in 4K HDR is freaking stunning. It was filmed on film, so there's a light film grain through the whole thing, but even the special effects hold up greatly when they finally get to the major action set pieces and they're doing the acrobatics while shooting and things are blowing up and pieces are flying everywhere. The new Dolby Atmos mix is great, but the visuals, it just looks stunning in HDR. I can't say enough great things about it. And the mythology and the depth of all the references, and the Matrix is just more than it appears on top. Some people watch it and go, hey, it's a martial arts science fiction movie. But it's so much more than that, and whether you like the second or third movies, they were a little overblown and kind of forgot a little bit where they were going. I have high hopes for Matrix 4. I think, you know, to get it back on track would what everybody would want to do, and I don't think Keanu would sign on to do it if it wasn't, they didn't have a pretty good plan. So going back to my original review, there's a podcast about The Matrix. Listen to that for all the details. But seriously, if you have a 4K setup with a big TV, you need to own The Matrix. This now joins the Planet Earth review, Planet Earth 2 that I did the other day, and Lucy, which is also just an incredible looking film on 4K. It is a great time to be alive. I know everybody's streaming, and I know me talking about physical media is reaching a smaller and smaller audience every year. But I'm telling you, as you will find, not all of this is my opinion. Here's an editorial part of this podcast. It's very expensive to sign up for every single streaming services out there to get all the exclusive content. And some will not reach the subscriber numbers or stay at the subscriber numbers they need to stay at to make it a viable thing. So you will see them merge, much like SiriusXM merged or any other couple of companies that are in competition that can't survive on their own. You will see these things merge, and you will see some things go. Netflix routinely takes things out and adds things. Amazon does the same thing. Some of the other companies don't because they own it lock, stock, and barrel, but if they were to lose the rights on things. And I've been around long enough in the streaming digital era that I have seen some services go away and you lose some movies, Some companies get out of the streaming business. And so having hard copies of your favorite movies is more important than it's ever been, because 4K may be the last hard copy of movies we get. It is better quality. Going into the future, we're going to have bigger and bigger TVs. You're going to want the biggest picture on whatever hard copy you own, so when you blow it up to wall size, it doesn't look like crap, like a DVD or even sometimes a Blu-ray would. So having hard copies of these movies and what might be the last hard copies of movies we get as a species, because we're moving to this whole streaming thing, even if you download a file, it's still not the quality. It doesn't push as much data as these discs do. And so with more data, you just have more information up on the screen. And that's why they look better and sound better. So I know I'm preaching to a small choir, and I'm probably not converting anybody. But if you can find one of your favorite movies for $10 to $15 on 4K, it's worth it to just pick it up and have it. So that 2, 3, 5 years from now, you want to watch that movie again, and maybe you don't subscribe to the streaming service that has that particular movie. I'm not saying you got to have a massive collection like dumb people like me, but, having your favorite movies, having a small collection, just ensures that you will always be able to watch them. You own the rights to it by buying it. And these days, Walmart has $5 and $7 bins. You can get 4Ks for $9.99 to $14.99. It's a deal to own that movie for the rest of your life in a very super ultra high definition version that will look good for years to come. So that's my editorial comment. Buy some hard media on stuff you want to save, because you never know if the streaming services that you subscribe to are still going to have it years down the road. I'm Scott Hamilton, I'm Rockfile, and pick up The Matrix. If you like this movie, the 4K is freaking stellar. TheRockfile.com is my website. Please subscribe, please share, and thank you very much for listening.